Good morning, children. Today we will discuss about the nervous system and this endocrine system. Their comparison we will study today, and what is the need of endocrine system in the human body as well as in all multicellular organisms that we will be discussing now. Okay. Nervous system we already studied, and here there are some differences as well as similarities between these two systems. And in all multicellular organisms, in addition to the nervous system, they need hormonal system or chemical coordination. That is hormonal coordination. Nervous system provides the chemical coordination. Nervous system actually provides this coordination with the help of the electrical impulses that we can call as nervous coordination, and the neurons transmit electrical impulses throughout the body. But along with this, multicellular organisms, it is not humans only, multicellular organisms need one more organ system. That is what is called chemical coordination or hormonal system. What is the need of this hormonal system? Here, children, in nervous coordination, what happens is the electrical impulses carried by the neurons, they reach only those parts of the organism connected with the nerves. Other parts, they won't receive any of the electrical impulses carried by the neurons. And another point is, once an electrical impulse is generated and transmitted in a cell, the cell needs some time to reset its mechanisms to produce or generate electrical impulse and transmit it. So it needs some time for the transmission of this electrical impulse. There is the need of an interval. So continuous this transmission of electrical impulses, it is impossible actually, because the cell needs time to reset the mechanisms to generate as well as to transmit the electrical impulses once an electrical impulse is created and transmitted. And also the electrical impulses reach those parts of the body which are connected by the nerves. That's the need of here comes the need of another this system of control and coordination. This is what is known as hormonal system or endocrine system. We can call it as chemical coordination. The other type of control and coordination done with the help of the central and this peripheral nervous system, that comes actually under nervous coordination. This is chemical coordination. Nervous coordination is done with the help of the nervous system, and chemical coordination is done with the help of the hormones produced by the endocrine glands that forms this endocrine system. That's very interesting. We will be discussing about the endocrine glands, the hormones secreted, how this endocrine system is related with the nervous system. Are there any differences between this nervous system and this endocrine system? We will discuss everything in detail. So here, children, the control and coordination, it is done with the help of nervous, this coordination and chemical coordination. And nervous system, as you know, that consists of brain, spinal cord and nerves are there. They produce, this brain and spinal cord produce this certain electrical impulses are there. Electrical impulses are carried from our sense organs to the brain and spinal cord, as well as from the brain and spinal cord to all the muscles with the help of these neurons. And these neurons together make this nerves. And here, through these neurons, the messages are carried in the form of electrical impulses. But in the case of this endocrine system, here the messages are carried with the help of certain chemical substances secreted by the endocrine glands called hormones. So endocrine glands, they make our this endocrine system that forms the chemical coordination. So here the endocrine system consists of a number of endocrine glands. These are actually tissues which produce these chemical substances called hormones. These hormones are secreted by various parts of the body and they are poured directly into our bloodstream. Blood only carries these hormones or these chemical substances to various sites of action. We will see. Hormones produced by the endocrine glands carried by the bloodstream to various parts of the body, and the hormones are highly specific in action. But in nervous system, the electrical impulses are carried throughout the body with the help of nerves. Here, this endocrine system, the hormones carry this, what children? The messages throughout our body. And here, in both this nervous system, when we make a comparison, there are some similarities also. Nervous system produce these chemicals called neurotransmitters. We studied about neurotransmitter. You remember, children, certain chemicals are produced at the junction between two adjacent neurons. That is at the tip of the axon, nerve endings. When an electrical impulse reaches there, certain neurotransmitters are released. We have studied acetylcholine, one example. Neurotransmitter pass or cross the synapse and reach the dendrite of the next neuron and starts a similar electrical impulse. So neurotransmitters are the chemicals produced by this nervous system at the synapse junction between two adjacent neurons. But in the case of the endocrine system also, we can see chemicals produced, but these chemicals are known as hormones, and these hormones can be of different types. Amino acids are there. Some are in the form of amino acids, some are in the form of these proteins and all. And so you must understand the hormones are the chemical substances produced by the endocrine system, and the neurotransmitters are the chemical substances produced by the nervous system. We will see next. Okay. Now, here children, neurotransmitters are produced by the nervous system and endocrine system produce the hormones. And endocrine system, they produce hormones and hormones are poured directly into our bloodstream. This blood carries the hormones to various places of action. These places of action of these hormones, we will call these places of action of these hormones, we will call them as target sites. I will tell you children, there are certain characteristics of hormones. These hormones are produced in very small quantities only, and they are produced by the endocrine glands. They are located in different parts of our body. Some of the endocrine glands are located in the brain, and this largest endocrine gland that is located in the neck region, and also actually at the region of our this sternum, and sternum means chest bone is there, and also some endocrine glands are situated below our stomach, and some endocrine glands are located above the kidney. So different parts of the body. And endocrine glands, they produce hormones, and these hormones are poured directly into the blood. Blood carries these hormones to different places of action. These places of action we will call them as target sites or target organs. They are known as target sites or target organs. The hormones are produced in very small quantities, in minute quantities only. And whenever the hormones are produced, they are poured directly into the bloodstream. And when we discuss about this, you must think about other type of glands we studied in the nutrition, life processes. You remember children, in the case of the digestive system, when we studied about so many glands. I hope you remember. So many glands we studied. We studied about salivary glands produced by these salivary glands. They produce the saliva, that is a digestive juice which acts on the starch in the mouth, and also gastric glands are there. They produce gastric juice, act on these proteins. So you must understand, in the case of gastric glands, salivary glands or liver, In all these cases, you have to remember one thing, children. They are carried by ducts. Saliva produced by the salivary glands are carried to our buccal cavity with the help of the salivary duct. Gastric glands produce gastric juice that is carried by the ducts. Gastric ducts are there. Similarly, the hepatic ducts are there. They carry, hepatic duct carries this bile produced by the liver to the small intestine. So in all these cases of the glands we studied earlier in digestive system, they have ducts. What do they have, children? They have ducts. But in the case of these glands, now we are discussing about our endocrine glands. Here no ducts are there. In the case of the endocrine glands we are discussing now, we can see no ducts are there in the case of the endocrine glands. Okay, so in the case of the endocrine glands, you must understand, children, there are no ducts at all, and these actually, so what happens is endocrine glands are these, they are known as the ductless glands. They are known as the endocrine glands, we will call them as ductless glands, and endocrine glands, they pour their secretions directly into the bloodstream. They are known as the ductless glands. Okay, endocrine glands are known as ductless glands. They don't have any ducts at all. They pour their secretions directly into the bloodstream. And so we will call these endocrine glands as ductless glands. So these hormones pour directly into the bloodstream, that is carried by our circulatory system to various parts of the body where they act. So the ductless glands produce these hormones, and these ductless glands produce hormones. These hormones are poured into the bloodstream. Circulatory system carries these hormones to various parts in the body where these hormones act. So the various parts of the body where these hormones act, we can call these various parts as target sites. We can call these various parts as target sites or target organs. So here you must understand, the hormones are produced by endocrine glands, but their sites of action are entirely different. That's why the hormones are known as chemical messengers. Hormones, their production center and their areas of action are entirely different. So we will call them as chemical messengers. Also you must understand, children, these hormones, they act as messengers between the nervous system and various organs in the body. So the hormones produced by the endocrine glands, they act as messengers between the nervous system and also the various organs of the body. And so this is another feature of hormone. Hormone, you must also understand, children. Hormones, I told you, they are produced in various, these very small quantities or traces only, but they are over secretion or they are this under secretion. If there is any deficiency of these hormones, if there is over secretion of the hormones, that can result in diseases. Okay, so they are actually here. You have to think about the case of vitamins, children. Vitamins are also required by our body in traces, but they are this over this production as well as this deficiency can lead to diseases. In the same way, the hormones, they should be produced in precise quantities in a appropriate or this quantities only, and this optimum amount it should be produced. Over secretion and under secretion can lead to this diseases, that also will be discussing. Very interesting, children. Now hormones are produced by the endocrine glands, and the hormones, they are poured directly into our bloodstream. Blood carries the hormones to all the target sites. That is one of the functions of blood. When you study about blood, blood carries the hormones. That is one of the functions. And these, what do these endocrine, these glands and these hormones or the chemical messengers secreted by these endocrine glands do in our body? They control our growth. Actually, hormones control the growth. Hormones control the growth, and we will see the growth of the body as well as the control and coordination. the metabolism of the body, everything controlled by these hormones. So hormones actually even control the reproduction, this growth of the body, metabolism of the body, everything controlled by the hormones. So I will tell you this. What is metabolism? Metabolism here, children, you must understand what is metabolism. Metabolism means all the chemical processes taking place in our body. For example, respiration is there, glucose is broken down to release energy. That's an example of metabolic activity. Okay. All the chemical processes that is needed for maintenance of life of the cell as well as organism. That is what is called metabolism. And so digestion can be taken as an example. Respiration is there. So all these life processes that is needed for survival of this organism as well as the maintenance of the cell, we can call them as metabolic activities. So for all the metabolism is controlled by growth and also control and coordination of body functions, reproduction, responses to the environment, everything is controlled by the hormonal system also. Responses to the environment, adrenaline and all, when you study, you can understand how does adrenaline this prepares us, how does it prepare us to face the emergency situation and all. Okay, that's very interesting. So you have to understand, children, these hormones are produced in response to certain external as well as internal stimuli. External stimuli and internal stimuli. And when we are very stressed, in the case when we are excited, when we are angry, and that is an external stimulus. Okay, these are external stimuli, and then adrenal glands produce adrenaline. That's an example of external stimulus. And similarly, growth hormone we studied, children. Pituitary gland secretes growth hormone or somatotropin. When the growth hormone is deficient in our body, then hypothalamus produce releasing hormone and stimulates the pituitary gland to secrete more growth hormone, to produce more growth hormone. That is an example of internal stimulus. So the hormones are produced in response to the external and internal stimuli in our body. Now we'll see the other these examples of hormones, features of hormones, etc. Okay. So hormones are poured directly into the bloodstream. This is how hormones are produced, and we will start with this. Here, children, we will be starting with this first type of this hormone. Different type of hormones are there. Hormones are found in the case of our brain, and here from the brain it is actually poured to the bloodstream. That is pituitary, and this pineal gland is there, and hormones may be in the form of protein, amino acid derivatives, steroids, peptides, and all different hormones come under all these categories. There are specific sites. Hormones always act at specific sites only. Most of the hormones, they act at specific sites only. We will see in the case of these different hormones, adrenaline and all. They have specific sites in the body. They are known as these target sites. And you must also understand, children, the hormones are actually this. They are excreted through this kidneys also, and the excess, if any, these excess hormones are there, they will be actually this broken down by the liver also. So you must understand these hormones have specific target sites, and they are excreted through the urine and by the kidneys, and these are some of the features of hormones. Now we see here, children, they are called chemical messengers because they are produced by this endocrine system, but their sites of action is different. That's why we can call them as these chemical messengers. And next we will see the different type of these hormones produced by various endocrine glands in our body. We'll see what are the hormones produced. The first type of hormone produced, we will see the pituitary gland. Pituitary gland we will start. Okay, pituitary gland. What is the speciality, children? You already studied about pituitary gland earlier, 8th standard also you studied. Pituitary gland is known as the master gland of the endocrine system. We can call pituitary gland as the master gland of the endocrine system. And the reason is the pituitary gland, it secretes certain hormones, and these hormones control the action of other endocrine glands. For example, pituitary gland produces a hormone, and this hormone is called TSH or thyroid stimulating hormone. Thyroid stimulating hormone, that's an example you have to, because you will be studying about thyroid and the hormone secreted, everything we will be studying in detail. Thyroid stimulating hormone, that is a hormone, an example of a hormone produced by the pituitary gland. You know, from the name itself it is clear, this TSH or thyroid stimulating hormone produced by the pituitary gland, it stimulates thyroid glands to produce the hormone. That hormone is known as thyroxine. So the action or function of the thyroid gland is controlled by the pituitary gland by producing a hormone called thyroid stimulating hormone. That's an example only to show that pituitary gland controls the action of all other endocrine glands. Also pituitary gland produces this ACTH and you need not study, and actually that controls our adrenal glands are controlled, and then prolactin actually this induces lactation, production of milk by the mammary gland. Also you must understand, children, here the pituitary gland produces certain hormones that control the action of other endocrine glands and as well as some other organs also. So we will call the pituitary gland as the master gland of the endocrine system. And don't think that this is not the single function of pituitary gland. And very, very interesting, children, you might have come across people, they will be very short sometimes. Sometimes these people will be very short, and some people will look like giants, and all these disorders are caused due to the dysfunctioning of the pituitary gland. Suppose the pituitary gland, you studied, children, about the hormone secreted by pituitary gland, that is known as the growth hormone, or growth hormone is otherwise known as the somatostatin. You remember somatotropin is the hormone produced by the pituitary gland, that is otherwise known as the growth hormone. And suppose this growth hormone, you know what do? They help in the growth and development of the bones and muscles. So the function of the growth hormone is to control the growth and development of the bones and muscles. And if this somatotropin growth hormone, it's produced in a sufficient amount, our body will be growing in a balanced way. This development, actually we will be our all body organs will be growing in a proportionate way. That is all this there will be balanced growth, or this proper growth of the muscles as well as of the bones of the body, that this person will be normal. Okay, physical condition will be normal. But if the somatotropin or growth hormone is deficient in our body, what happens, children? That person will, actually if the somatotropin or growth hormone is deficient in childhood, that actually that person, the child, will be too short, and he looks like a dwarf only. He will be too short for his age, and this condition we will call it as the dwarfism. So dwarfism is a condition caused by the deficiency of the growth hormone or somatotropin secreted by the pituitary gland. And just imagine, children, the opposite or reverse condition. If growth hormone is produced in excess, if there is over secretion of growth hormone, that can result in abnormal growth of our body parts. That means actually our limbs, forelimbs, our hands, our hind limbs, legs and all will be very long, and the person looks like a giant. And this condition we will call it as the gigantism. So gigantism and dwarfism, these are the two disorders caused by the over secretion and the deficiency or under secretion of the growth hormone or somatotropin produced by the pituitary gland. And so that's the case of here children, the pituitary gland. We will see the pituitary gland, then another gland is there, so pineal gland, so pituitary gland now we have seen, and so each of these glands actually, first we will go through all these glands. Yes, going through these glands, different glands. So we have seen pituitary gland is there, pituitary gland we have seen now, pituitary gland, I will tell you once again children, pituitary gland is attached to the, below the hypothalamus only it is seen, attached to the base of the brain with the help of these nerves, blood vessels, etc. Now pineal gland is there, it is situated towards the center of our brain only, and the pineal gland, that is also, so two glands are there, two these endocrine glands are there located in the brain. Sometimes somebody asks you a question, name the gland, endocrine gland located in the brain. You can this say either pituitary gland or pineal gland. And this if they are specifying which is the master gland located in the brain, we can say it is pituitary gland. And next another gland is hypothalamus. Hypothalamus children, pituitary gland I told you it is a master gland in the endocrine system, but hypothalamus it controls even the action of the pituitary gland. Now we will actually just go through all the glands, then in detail I will be discussing about each type of this gland. Okay, now here children, the next is thyroid gland located in the neck region, parathyroid that is located in the dorsal surface, thymus gland located in the chest region, pancreas below our stomach, adrenal glands above our kidneys, testes actually located outside the abdominal cavity in a scrotum, ovaries are located on both sides of the abdominal cavity, both sides of kidney, that is in the case of the female, testes in males. Now we will be discussing about each of the glands in detail. And diencephalon children, that is actually thalamus and hypothalamus together actually form this diencephalon. You must understand this is the pituitary gland. It is the master gland in the endocrine system. It controls the action of even thyroid gland is controlled by this pituitary gland. Our pancreas, our this adrenal glands, and even this the ovaries, all these, the adrenal glands are there, ovaries are there, everything is controlled by this pituitary gland. That's the importance of the pituitary gland. That's why we will call it as the master gland of the endocrine system. Now we will see children, the growth hormone we already studied, that is otherwise known as the somatotropin. Suppose the growth hormone, so growth hormone is if it is produced in larger amounts, that can lead to gigantism. The person looks like a giant only. And this is the over secretion of the growth hormone. Suppose the growth hormone, if it is secreted in lower amounts, that causes dwarfism. And now we'll see children the endocrine glands. So here also the nervous coordination under this here hypothalamus. Now we'll see the case of the hypothalamus children. So growth hormone we have seen. Now we'll see the case of the hypothalamus. Hypothalamus, here as you know children, hypothalamus is located in the forebrain. Okay, it is located in the forebrain, and the hypothalamus controls our thirst, hunger, fatigue, body temperature, everything controlled by the hypothalamus. And this hypothalamus has another important role also. Hypothalamus produces certain hormones. Two types of hormones are produced by the hypothalamus. And one type of hormone we will call it as the hypothalamus. I will tell you children, hypothalamus we have seen what are the functions of the hypothalamus. Now I will tell you some other function of the hypothalamus also. And hypothalamus, what does it do is, it secretes suddenly, here children, releasing hormones. Hypothalamus produces two type of hormones called releasing hormones as well as the inhibitory hormones. That is the case of the hypothalamus. color change. And hypothalamus, you must understand children, hypothalamus actually controls the produce the releasing hormones as well as inhibitory hormones. Two type of hormones are produced by hypothalamus. And the hypothalamus, as I told you earlier, hypothalamus controls the function of the pituitary gland. Suppose there is deficiency of growth hormone, somatotropin, releasing hormone, that is growth hormone releasing factor is there, that will be secreted by the hypothalamus. This hypothalamus, you know what does it do? It induces the pituitary gland to produce more growth hormone. So there will be balanced growth of bones and muscles in the body. So hypothalamus even controls the master gland of the endocrine system. But if some hormones produced by the pituitary gland are excess, pituitary gland secretes more growth hormone. You know children, what happened? The hypothalamus secretes certain inhibitory hormones. These hormones reduces the secretion of the hormones from the pituitary gland. That inhibits the pituitary gland from producing too much of that particular hormone. It inhibits. That's why we will call it as the inhibitory hormone. So you must understand, we have studied about pituitary gland as well as the hypothalamus, pituitary gland, then one more gland is there, pineal gland, and this pineal gland actually that is located in the center of the brain, that we have seen, pineal gland. Pineal gland, what does it do is children? Pineal gland controls our biological clock. That is, biological clock means we wake up in the morning, understood? And at night we'll be sleeping. So the sleep and wake up patterns, this is controlled by a hormone called melatonin. Melatonin hormone secreted by this pineal gland. And this melatonin actually induces sleep. The production of the melatonin is stimulated by darkness. And so melatonin is produced whenever it is dark at night. Melatonin hormone is produced and melatonin induces sleep. So sleep and wake up pattern, that is controlled by the melatonin hormone produced by the pineal gland. So we studied about hypothalamus, pituitary gland, pineal gland, and the rest of the endocrine glands we will be studying in the next class. And whatever notes you got the day before yesterday, you have to write in your notebooks, children. And if I am sending any notes, actually what I am supposed to do is all the notes together, and if I am sending all the whole endocrine system together, that will be more useful for you. Anyway, if I am sending any notes, I will inform through your group. And then one more thing, children, all of you have to access the parent app. Now hereafter no more notes will be sent through your group, so you have to access the parent app. And thanks a lot for listening. And if you have any doubts, please message or ask me, okay? Or you can ask now also.